Crouch. Bind. Set.
Joe presents the House of Rugby, together with Guinness.
I've got a good one for you this week. There's a man in a place with a bittersweet face, and he goes by the name of Ebenezer Good. His mates call him Ezer because he is a fine geezer, and he'll vibe up the place like no other man could. Which, a little known fact, was a song written about you in 1992.
It was a song about me, but it was one that, that's how I got my nickname for Wasps.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That I actually didn't know that.
Genuinely.
Isn't it beautiful when things like that come together?
But that's beautiful TV.
Isn't that a lovely?
But that's also
TV
before Haskell was even. He was still.
Twinkle in the milkman's eye,
he was still living the dream
Oh,
at Wellington.
Yeah.
Mike Friday, it is very, very nice to have you on. How long have you known Mike?
I think I've known Mike since probably 18.
That's
actually.
right, yeah,
Yeah,
17,
maybe
18.
slightly before 17, 18, maybe. Yeah.
Little twinkle in the eye when you recalled the early days.
Yeah, a few stories. Yeah, well, we'll come on to that.
Yeah.
You're looking very edgy. Like, you should have worn that gear when we had Ekin Fenwell on, because, you know, like, with gear, you know...
This
like,
is a very nice little garb that's been sent through by a very good rugby charity.
Okay.
Which
Am I getting the
very glad to be.
endorsement, or we charity stars
No,
at home?
we're doing some charity work.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a dirty word around my gaff, charity work. I do it, but obviously...
But I'm very, very glad.
No,
we're
I'm
putting it out
joking.
there.
So what's the talk? Do you want to plug it? Do you want to talk about
Yeah, I do, but I'm actually just going to get the exact details while you interview
that's
Mike
smooth,
very
isn't
quickly.
it?
Yeah, I should have done that.
So, Mike,
It's cool.
how are you?
I'm very well. I'm very well. No, I'm good.
You're a bit of a fan of House Rugby, aren't you?
I do. I love it.
Ellis was good last week.
He
wasn't
was brilliant. I mean, I like authentic people that are down to earth, gritty, say how it is, and speak from the heart. And you know, he is who he is. He's you know, I've only ever watched him from afar on the pitch, and always thought he was a bit of a thug.
Yeah.
And he's handy on the pitch, and he's probably could be quite handy off the pitch.
But he's a bit of a cuddler. He's lovely as well. It's that demeanour. You know, he's got one of them like serial killer demeanours.
Yeah.
But actually, he's like really lovely when you chip past
Well,
it.
he's an authentic bloke. He's a
Yeah.
real man, and he says what he thinks. And you know where you stand with those types of guys. So for me as if he was in the change room at Wasps in my day, he'd have been perfect in change room 10. And
Who was in change room 10 with you?
Volley.
Right, yeah. You know, I once said to Paul Volley once, the biggest regret I've ever had. He was getting into me, right, on the Wasps. He was getting into me, going, "Oh, Haskell, you this." And I turned around and went, think I was being clever. I was like, "Fuck off, Oles. You can watch me in your retirement," right? And everyone just went quiet. And I honestly went, "Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Paul, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." He's like, "You fuck," and I at the car park afterwards, I was like, "Paul, Mr. Volley, Mr. Paul, Mr. Sir, I'm really sorry. I really regret that," because he was obviously a Wasps hero, and I just thought I was being too clever. And
Well, he's also as well. He's a little bit like again in the fact that. Well, more often than not, when we were Wasps Colts, we were on a Sunday morning. We'd have to go and bail him out of jail to get him ready to play in the Colts game in this afternoon. I mean, he was a proper handful. And again, like, people like Voles. You know, even Lawrence Grace was in that changing room.
Really?
Some real
Buster
kind of
White?
Buster. We didn't let him in that changing room. We have to lock that out. You know, he can go with some of the other boys.
was that Dean Ryan as well around that? Was that
Dean Ryan was slightly before.
Fine, okay.
So
You've had a hell of a paper round, so it's difficult
exactly.
to work
Well, you
out
know, I
what
mean, I think
age.
Dean Ryan gave me that paper round. I mean, he gave me a kicking when we were youngsters, and we used to play 1v2s on a Thursday night. Used to just watch the likes of Buster White, you know, Dean Ryan, Mark Rigby, just
What was Rigby was a nutter, wasn't
absolutely
he?
kicking the shit out of one another. And the only person they didn't deal with was Francis Emerua. So Francis Emerua was the hardest man I've ever come across in rugby. You know, he should have been the first.
What set him apart?
He should have been the first black fella to play for England.
Yeah.
But he got gangrene in his leg from a broken leg, but he still found his way back to play in the Wasps first team. He was a softly spoken school teacher, but if you made him angry, like, his eyes would just come, he'd look right through you and you would be scared. So whenever they played Bath back in the late 90s, they just picked him to play against John Hall, because John Hall had upset him on one occasion, and you didn't upset Francis Emerua. I mean, he saved Lawrence's life on a Jean Deleuze trip when the back row were trying to dangle him out of the
the window by I remember, because that was Lawrence talks about it as his initiation.
Yeah.
They hung him out the window by his feet.
Is this
Dean
Dallaglio?
Ryan,
What's
yeah,
great?
But Dean Ryan, Buster, you know, Rigby.
Rigby's horrible.
men on the
You know,
piss.
like when you meet people, you're like, Mark is lovely, but you know when you got people who look like simmering anger.
Yeah.
So like you get into Riggers like with one bit of chat. So if I got into him, like I said, you're looking like very youthful today, very kind of, you know. community centre gears, right? If I said that to him, he'd just be like, fucking, what do you mean fucking? Straight off the bat, like simmering. So they were loose. But I asked Lawrence about his initiations, and they said, they hung him out of a window, up by his ankles, actually out of the window by his ankles, upside down. And obviously he was
and that was a nice bit, because they also had the physio H-wave in there, and there was all sorts of...
really?
What is the physio H-wave?
Well, you know the old pulse machine?
Oh, yeah.
So obviously Lawrence was a good-looking guy. So the reality is, needs will, needs must. And then Francis rolled over from his bed and just went to him. Enough. And you've never seen three big blokes just go, all right, Francis. I mean, that's how he rolled. Yeah.
The car battery on your balls hanging over a window.
Yeah.
And just someone rolls over and goes, enough. I love that.
Sounds like a quiet Tuesday at school.
But they were so that was a bit before your time. So Lawrence Grace is selling insurance now, isn't it? So basically how the boys go around.
It is, and it's a different time now. Where your whole life was rugby. Back then it was part of your life, so you had to have other skills and other strands, and you're always going to have to go back to something. And that's how it was. And that changed room 10. They still have people like King are in there,
right?
Denzel, Fraser.
Denzel brushed his teeth then.
Yeah. Who's Denzel?
Mark Denny.
The old
Clifford, isn't it?
Clifford the Dragon.
Was it Clifford the Dragon? Or
From
Clifford
Listerine.
I thought it was
From Listerine.
Was it Clifford? Okay, because I thought it was the big orange dog, Clifford the dog with the dog breath. So it was a Listerine dragon called Clifford.
If he's ever watches this, so heads a roll. But
what's he going to do? Breathe on this?
You
That might be enough by the sound of it.
But it was deadly. Like the banter in there. Shawsey would put his head round the room. Scrivener. There's real proper characters back in that kind of late 90s Wasps changing room, where tight crew, but good times. Good times.
I love that though. That's what I think. When I finished at Wasps or whatever, and I was looking around the change room, you talk about senior players, because I came up just on the tail end of I said I Denny and Fraser and all those kind of massive characters. I looked round and you'd have these worldly wise guys, but then and all had a story and all had a thing and they all had adventures and everything else. Then you got to the end of it and I was in there and I was looking around going, I'm one of them blokes. I just felt very inadequate. I didn't feel like I had, I looked around and the Lurper, you just didn't have those characters. I didn't think. And that's one of the big things of rugby.
Does it?
Well, rugby's the issue about rugby a little bit at the moment is it's a little bit insular, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why Genge and his life and how he is and what he's had to deal with makes him such an authentic character in the game.
Yeah.
And long may that continue. We need more of those people to mix in, and we need to experience more things in life than rugby, because rugby's only ever going to be part of your life. It's never going to be all your life, as we've talked about,
Can I just check one thing, right? Have they flown you from America to get you here? Because they wouldn't do me down the road.
The entire budget's gone for a geezer Airways.
I'm literally in and out. I landed back Sunday and then I fly off on Friday to New Zealand.
So you literally live in the dream, because I look at it now and I think, I saw you with England, because we'll come on to how we met, had the England experience, you were doing bits and pieces, I remember you coming in and doing one-on-one scrum-half work with people, and then I lost kind of track of bits and pieces. Then I saw you just living the dream in America. Obviously America, with Perry Baker and the lads, just finding these mental monsters who were just coming out of nowhere, smoking everyone, living the absolute dream with Phyllis. The only person who's missing is Terry Sands.
Well, he's in the background, you never know, he's never far away, Sandsy.
Honestly, it was
putting the band back together.
It was like a naughty
Phyllis is Phil Greening for those
Phil Greening, Mike Friday, and Terry Sands. Well, a triumvirate. They were like the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Right. That was my very first experience. Very naughty. And that was my first experience of sevens, having those three. And it was one of some of the best times I've ever had in rugby.
Which we're going to come on to. Just very quick. Wait, who gave you Geezer as the name?
Ebenezer Good. Yeah. So obviously that I was at Wasps at the time.
I dread to think. Anyone got any Veras?
So it was Riggers. So Mark Rigby again. And they just sat there and they're like, because I was the only bloke from South East London that came across, and he's Ebenezer Good. Like, you're the boy from South East London, you're our geezer. Because they were all North West London and
public school.
Yeah, well, there's a mixed bag there, but there was there's a boys from Essex and all that, but north of the river, not my bag. So the reality is that's how I ended up getting that name, and it literally stuck with me from that day on. I mean, I can't get rid of it.
I genuinely did not know that.
But isn't that good though? That's what I love. That's what I miss more than anything else in ordinary life. You walk in, you've bought your best gears, you've had your lid done, you wear something or say something wrong once, and somebody gets something and it sticks.
And you're
forever.
still 25 years on being introduced as geezer to the world.
I mean, I've dusted about 15 people with permanent lifelong nicknames that you forget. I forget I've done it, and then you'll read a press thing and they go, "Why are you called that?" They went, "Oh, James Haskell called it to me once." I've never got a nickname apart from ones you can't say on camera.
Yes.
Exactly.
Welcome to House of Rugby. I think we're up and running. Nice to have you back with us. Brought to you by Joe together with our very good friends at Guinness. James is here. We are wearing some nice threads. The charity is Loose Heads, which is doing some very good stuff.
Oh, yeah, they do stuff on social media.
Mental health and linking it with rugby.
Yeah, mental health.
So
yeah,
thank you very much,
Steve,
Steve, for the garbs, and good luck with the good work that you're doing. And Mike is alongside as well. You've dipped in. You're about to dip out again. How are you feeling? Looking very well.
It's all right. Yeah, I mean, fortunately, me, I don't need the leg room, so it's all good, right? So,
We'll get a little glove box bit.
oh, mate,
Yeah,
I tell you, there's no chance of turning left with USA Rugby. So, you know, it's.
Is it not? I would have thought they were cash monies, aren't they?
I mean, we're going through a restructuring at the moment. So, you talk about kind of spinning plates and things like that. Coaching the rugby on the pitch is the easy bit, and you know, I've got great people like Phyllis around me that can do that, and Rocky now as well. So, but dealing with the off pitch, all of that contractual stuff, dealing with the restructuring and the reorganisation, and trying to create the pathways and the platform and the programme in, for all intents purposes, a country which is ridiculously big. You don't realise how big America is till you get there, on a budget that isn't even anywhere near what they put in the grassroots game here. I mean, that's the magnitude of the budget in the USA Rugby as a whole across the entire country is probably 50% of what they put in the community game. I think it's around 10, 11 million.
Can you not use your black book to tap into a couple of global conglomerates?
Exactly. I mean, where we're at is, you know, interesting enough, everybody thinks America, cash-rich country, boom, money, no object. We operate on philanthropy. It's a huge part of American sport. Very, very different to the UK landscape. So, you know, I'm very, very fortunate in terms of kind of we call them the Golden Eagles, which are the philanthropy group that support the men's sevens and now the women's sevens. And we're trying to grow that part of the programme until we can become commercially viable. Yeah. Which is the key and is the ultimate aim. Because once we do that, then all of a sudden we can put in the pathways, create the talent ID, look to complement the super sports in the high schools, let them go and chase the college dream, come back, and then we can really unlock the potential, not only in the sevens game, but then maybe, but a long time down the track in the 15s game. So how is someone like Perry Baker or Carlin Isles or Danny Barrett, they are household names within the game of sevens and within rugby. Have they got opportunities that they're being looked after, or are they kind of bouncing around a bit? Yeah, I mean, the reality for them, Alex, is that you know if they rocked up in Fiji or they rock up in New Zealand or even here, they're better known than they are in their own country, and that's Perry and Carlin, who are probably two of the most well-known faces. Danny, the Boom Boom, is renowned for his physical efforts on occasion, but you know it's a very different landscape. You know, and it's you know, again, without kind of dramatising it, the reality is these boys live on the breadline currently. So, like, give you a perspective, right? They, for all intents and purposes, and it's all about kind of economies. Yeah. So, like, tier one economy, America, California's like living in Fulham. And these boys are getting by and could probably earn just as much stacking shelves in Walmart. So that's the reality of where we are. So very much like professional rugby was here when it first started. Yeah. So we've got a huge job to reposition it. It's never going to be like American football and basketball, nor should it, because you can't create the commercial revenue. So similar to soccer here, right, or football. Yeah. But we've got a journey to go on, and it's a very similar journey, but it'll be different to what happened in the professional game over here, kind of 95 and onwards. Yeah. So it's early days, but you're trying to compete and stay with the top nations. Yeah. We're doing it on the sevens. We're mixing it with them, but we've got our own challenges. Yeah.
I think it's very interesting as well what the players do. Personally with the social media stuff. I think what the USA have in terms of sevens, what you've done, I think they have a bit more glamour and a bit more excitement than other teams. I think for me, I was doing some stuff with HSBC and I saw you. That was the last time I saw you at the sevens, and we were there. And I think you were playing Fiji, and you narrowly lost to Fiji in that game for the championship, for the series. But I just think out of nowhere, you've brought the kind of the American team, the sevens team up. and they become almost like a left field thing where they've like had a few good tournaments. People are like, oh, they're not consistent. Suddenly they're consistent, and they've got these characters, and I think it's tailor-made to kick on.
Yeah.
And I think they do some cool stuff with social media. You know, Carlin's always like racing people. Perry Baker, you know, does stuff that, you know, all these kind of guys are doing a really interesting thing. I think it's hopefully it will kick on, because from the outside, out of all the Sevens team, you want to watch American Fiji, you know.
They're box office, right?
Yeah.
And the reality is, like you just talk about, they're characters, but like the diversity in the group, like, you know, you've got extremes like Perry and Carlin, and then you've got the other end, Maka and Effie, who won't say boo to a goose, but athletically he's ridiculous. He's a freak, like the other two in his own way. You know, that is the spectrum that we have in the USA team. And you're right, they are characters and they are authentic. I mean, Perry is Perry, right?
But also with the coaching staff as well. Like, with all due respect, you know, you've got a big character and a big personality. Phyllis is a unique man to himself. Rocky's, you know, he's probably the most normal one out of all, and he's a serial killer at the best time.
We put him in the cupboard every day.
He was a machine. I mean, do you remember? Well, I know you coach.
Yeah,
you know, the fitness
This is Tony.
level,
yeah, Rocky. Yeah,
and the stuff he would do on the field, and the training, and his fitness, and just his, you know, he probably wasn't in his own mind the most skillful bloke in the world, but he just was
hands
a
like
machine.
feet. I think that's how he
similar,
described himself.
Similar.
Sounds like tits.
Yeah, that's what.
That's it, but everybody wanted him. First name on a team sheet. If you had a choice who they wanted in the team, back in that team when in 2003, 4, 5, 6, first person they wanted was Rocky. Why? Because he does all the shit work, so they haven't got to do it.
Love that.
And he's a lovely guy as well, which helps. But I think it's like tailor-made with him. You probably, if you had Terry in there doing a few wheelie and dealing, you'd probably kick on to the next level.
Yeah.
What I love about this show is we've done half an hour, and Si's like, King, say, please will you get to the menu? One week I would like to do the entire show and then do the menu as the last thing we do and then say goodbye. Coming up on the show, thank you very much, Lee, goodbye. So we'll get to it. We're going to dig into your connection. We're going to have a quick look back at your career as well.
I won't take long.
Quins, England Sevens captain as well.
You were Quins, were you?
Let's not. We don't talk about that, Hask. That was
Once a
9
Quin,
months
never a
of my
Quin.
life.
I did not know that.
No.
Touch on Olympics, and we've got an NFL-related perfect paul in honour of your links to America as well. I want to talk about Nate Ebner as well.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Good man.
You were having a giggle before we pressed record. Can we go back into the early days of the guru and the pup?
Yeah, well, I can't remember. Do you remember? Was it you? Because I remember you came in, and I remember we did one session for the sevens, Middlesex Sevens. Because I think the year before you got to the semis,
No, got to the final. We played Bradford Bulls.
yes, and they just turned out, and that was what kicked on to bringing Whitey in, wasn't it?
So they bought, and Whitey was in, and Whitey was the angry man, like short man syndrome.
Yeah.
Perfect. We get on great. And he was an angry man, but like you got a northerner and you got a Londoner, it's never going to end well. And
So Craig was your fitness and
he was Gat's right hand man, right?
Yeah.
So what?
But do you want to tell? Because what happened was that they got to the final, right, and they played Bradford.
I'm just conscious lots of names that people might not know.
So basically, Wasps got to the final and played against Bradford Bulls, right, and Bradford dismantled us, didn't us, in that final, but like to a different extent. So Warren, from what I led to believe, went, these blokes are big, powerful, fit. That's what I want. And they took Whitey from them to
I'm not sure whether Whitey came from there or he came from football. I wasn't sure if he came from Blackburn.
Well, I think maybe he'd done.
He was
some
up
work,
north anyway.
He was northern rather than
that'll do.
So he basically got them on board, and that's what sparked the whole Wasps. You know, that very next season was the sparking of the, you know, conditioning, bigger, fitter. Sean Edwards, mad blitz defence, beat everyone up, be fitter and bigger and stronger than everyone. Craig White was the mastermind.
He was, reverse periodisation. It was the first year that they brought it in,
What is that?
Well, when they didn't do any running for the first half of pre-season. So traditional pre-season was you run until you're sick, and then you do weights alongside. Well, ain't happening. That wasn't happening under Whitey. These boys, by the time I turned up, I mean, they looked like they were
Hercules.
Yeah.
They were big old lumps. And I was like, oh, you boys looking good. So I'm thinking, oh, lovely jubbly, here we go. Literally couldn't run more than 10 yards between them. So by the end of when we got to the tournament, I think we got spanked in the first game. We won the second game in the plate, got spanked in the third game, and I've got people like Roy's are going, mate, why can't we do it? And I'm like, mate, because you ain't fit. But what I meant was you're not running fit. Yeah. But you had Bobby was there.
Yeah.
Bobby
Boucher.
Yeah, the water boy.
The rope.
Yeah.
He was obviously back then. He was Whitey's right hand man. He was his eyes and his ears, right? Because Whitey wasn't there. So I went back to work. So I was working at DTZ in the surveying. I get this call through on my office phone. It's Whitey. Literally swearing, "Fuck you! What are you doing tonight? You don't know your." And I'm like, "Whoa, who is this?"
Could have been one of 100 people, though, Geese, couldn't it? Let's be honest.
And he says, it's Craig White, what the fuck, you just undermine me. And I'm like, hold on a minute, whoa. And we talked it out for half an hour. I was like, well, can they run? No. Well, they're not fit. They are fit, they're just not running fit. I said, did you tell me this? He went, no. I said, well, bit of a miscommunication. And then typical Gats had just washed himself off it to start with. And then at the end of it, I met up with Gats later down the track. He said, we're not do that again, Mike. He said, look, I'll just let them get on with it. And Whitey has his way.
Yeah.
And Whitey, I mean, Whitey is second to none in terms of doing what he does, and he still is. I know he's all into his yoga camps now, and he's
he masterminded Uruguay, I think, doesn't he? He's a performance.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
He's brilliant, actually, because he's. What's very interesting about Whitey, we talked about on the other show, is that he came into Wasps and revolutionised rugby, full stop. And under him are about 7 people.
Yeah.
And those 7 people have gone off and have become heads of conditioning in rugby, and then moved on to head of conditioning in other sport, and under them have spawned, and everyone's been a disciple of Craig White. And he obviously then finished, did the Lions, went off kind of to do the yoga treats, went off to the other side of the world, kind of rediscovered himself, come back in, is now doing a real kind of work on mentoring, mental mindset, performance. He was the kind of the mastermind behind Uruguay beating Fiji in terms of their stuff. So he's a genius, but like he was a small fiery man, very much like
he was, but from the north.
From the north.
But from the north, and it couldn't be any more different now.
No.
So when I went to Kenya, Whitey came in and did the audit with me on the S&C, and the guy that came in that we found was Chris Brown, was mentored under Whitey. Now then came with me with Kenya. We turned them into absolute kind of Spartan warriors. Yeah. And then Brownie came to America and now runs the women's program. He's now the head coach of the women's. But again, he's another disciple of Whitey. I mean, he's a special character. Yeah. And he's like he was proper angry. I mean, he wasn't just angry. I mean, he was kind of out of control angry. But now he couldn't be farther down the other end of the spectrum.
He's
like this.
He's still got it in him, though.
Yeah.
Never underestimate that. You know what I mean? Everyone always goes Zen, but they still. Leopard doesn't change his spots. He's still fiery. I reckon you cross him like, mate. Do you fucking want something?
Deal with it. So what do you remember? So when you first met Hask, he was one of these lumps who could lift the tin, but not necessarily run further than the.
He was a young man back then as well. You see, and like typical with Hask as well, he was always trying to. The thing about James is he wasn't bothered about what he was weak at. He wanted to get better. Yeah. So, so the reality is, my hands are not good enough. So he put himself in the spotlight. I want to do 7s. He's just come back from England 21s. Yep. And he's battling in the back row at Wasps, which was a tough class to trying to break into.
Electrodes on your bollocks on the first day.
Yeah, well, possibly.
Yeah. Well, you're Johnny O'Connor. Johnny O'Connor, Joe Worsley, Dan Leo, Paul Volley, Lawrence.
I would say Scribs, but not Scribs.
Not Scribs. Forget Scribs. John Clark. McClarkey, he was a big mate. They just used to pull people out of the woodwork. Mark Locke.
Big old, good school. So and Reese. So James and it was James, Reese, and Crofty.
Yeah.
All from the 21s, and they wanted to kick on and work their hands. And back then, the 7s was a pathway, but you had to take yourself out of your comfort zone. And so James had to make some adjustments. So we actually took you guys to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And Hilsey as well.
Yeah, Hilsey, yeah.
And Hilsey, Mike Hilsey was the 21s open side at the time.
I was a 6, Mike was the 7, because Reese
was up.
He was ahead of us,
He was up a year.
And number 8 was it Croft? Well, Crofty might have been there. There was another younger guy. Oh, Mark Hopley. Oh no, he came. There's a few guys like that came in.
Sorry, Hask to Amsterdam.
Yes. Yeah. And with Sansi, with Phyllis, under the guise of Samurai.
What are you thinking?
Well, actually, they had a great time, because the thing about when you go on a Samurai gig is you've got to back it up after. Part of it is the touring as well, so you have to teach them how to tour.
Then you had to play 5 games on the first day. Yeah. Is it 4 on the second?
No, 4 on the first day, then you go into a second group, and then you go semis-final.
So 4 sevens games, right? Obviously playing to a certain way. You're battered, right, from all the games. So that the night of the final, or the day of the final, I'm so tired. I'm like, I can do this. He's like, you can. You're soft. Like, gave me a coffee, everything else that, and then we ended up playing out of our skin, winning the game fired in caffeine. And then, do you remember after the final, Mike calls me over. And he's like, "Oh, I've had a phone call from England, from Andy Robinson." And I'm thinking he's taking the piss here because the first time I got called up by the sevens by Joe Lydon to do that Young England sevens, you remember he used to do Henley and something else. He called me up and he went, "Oh, it's Joe Lydon here. I'd like to call you up." Things I was like, "Fuck off!" Put the phone down.
How many times does that happen in sport?
Because I thought there was no way he's calling me up, and then he called me over and he goes, "Andy Robinson wants to talk to you about, you know, we might have to pull you out. They want to play." I was like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Yeah, they're thinking about putting you in against the Barbarians." And I was in training Monday with the Barbarians, or 2 days later that was my first game. Came off the bench against the Barbarians at Twickenham for England.
Never looked back.
Then he got sacked, and then that was it. Yeah.
Hairs on the chest.
Yeah. But it was intense, though, wasn't it? It wasn't as
but
tired
we used it. We used it because.
Do you like a bit of the old school in what you do?
Back then, it was part of it. I think it's very different now. I still think there's a time where you have to allow the boys to be boys, and you do need to let them let loose. I think they've, unfortunately, now with social media and things like that, you've got to be very, very careful, and you've got to protect the boys. So they will have times. Yeah. Now, American boys will have times where they can, and they just have to be sensible. They have to be more aware. There are different things you have to be aware of now, which you didn't have to be back then. But I still think there's a big part about at the right time, at the appropriate time, team bonding. I think things have changed now in terms of, they call it in America hazing. You can't, you can't force those to participate that don't want to participate, and I think people are more open to that as long as they are joining in with making a fool of themselves, even if it doesn't mean whatever it may be. But
it was so funny, but it was so like just the
Did you love it as a player?
I loved it, but honestly, I cannot underestimate. No, I loved it. I found it hard to just because it was dodgy hotels, no food. You're playing four games in one day, 5 games on the last day, and these are 7 minutes each way. The final's 10 minutes each way, and you are so tired. Yeah. And you're trying to balance. Obviously, you're trying to play to a certain standard. You're trying to impress the guys. They are very professional about what they do, even though it's funny. So you're laughing hysterically between things. That's when we found out Terry Sands had. I think one of his children. Obviously, one of his children.
What's Terry Sands' background?
Sandsy, as a player?
I don't know.
He was just an angry prop that played local rugby, but passionate about rugby. I came across him when I played for the Water Buffaloes back in the early 90s, and then our relationship and our bonding, obviously, in the bars.
So, what did he do? What part of the trio did he play with you?
He was the manager, so basically logistics,
got you,
getting shit done. If there's a deal to be done, he's your man. He made shit happen, and on the 7th circuit when he managed England, it's not like a 15s trip where logistically you can map out everything for the next 3 weeks. Literally, stuff goes wrong and you've just got to improvise and adapt, and you've got to find a way. And it's no good going, well, it's not in this manual. It's not. Manual out the window. It's find a way to make sure that the boys have got what they need and get where we need to get to.
Got you.
So, imagine he's a bit like Del Trotter, a big Del Trotter in terms of the owner of Samurai, obviously very successful business. Always a bit to and fro to China. Always coming back. It was always a little deal, and and he would be brilliant at his the organisation stuff. But he was also a great character. Yeah. So you've got Geezer take the piss all the time. Billis take the piss all the time. Terry take the piss all the time. So the atmosphere and camaraderie was brilliant. You were having a great time. You were doing good stuff on the field. Yeah. But that was when we found out that Terry had a grandson or grandchild that had been born ginger. So everyone was getting into him about being ginger. So they reckon he spent all of his fees on hair dye. And as soon as this kid would come out, they dyed it blonde from the early days because he wouldn't admit it. We were like, Terry, it's all right. You've got a ginger kid, mate. It's all right. It's all right. So I haven't. You're like, Terry, you have. He goes, I'm dying it.
Amazing.
It was just really good stuff. And Phyllis, some of the breakdown work that they've encouraged, his foresight and that, and the way he used to play and his detail around that was pioneering back then as well. Just his attention to detail. I learnt more. Kicked off from Samurai, went to Dubai, was the first
one. Dubai and George with us first time,
And just even things like that, maybe such a better player about the leg tackle, getting back to your feet, competing for the ball, handling, being we would do. When you're in a 15s team and you're playing, you might do hands in the warm-up if you're lucky. We were doing full length of the field, up and down in George, 20-metre spin passes off both hands, working, making sure you don't check the runner, doing extra bit of breakdown stuff, so leg tackles, getting to your feet, counter-rucking. Being able to look after a ruck with one person, but then having the engine to keep doing it. And I remember in the very first game in Dubai, I put the lid on by the old scrum cat, right? It was hot. Luckily, it wasn't as hot as it could have been because it had been raining a little bit. And Crofty and I were obviously you have certain defensive systems, so you use a touchline or you did back in the day as your help. So guys going, and the idea is you come back off a little bit, you close the door on him, so the guy gets blocked in. I remember this guy was so tired after they'd had the ball for 2 minutes. The guy just ran past me, and everything in my body wanted me to tackle him. I couldn't. I just honestly watched him, like me and like Crofty, like dead behind the eyes, just watching this guy just run round us. And I was like, Crofty, yours? And basically nothing happened. We just didn't. We couldn't. When you're so tired, you can't do anything. And it was the weirdest thing because even in 15s, the worst game, you have something about you. But when you've gone 2-3 minutes, I remember the Army once. We played the Army in the Young England thing at Henley. They kept the ball for 5 minutes. By the end of it, they kept. They stepped. By the end of it, they stepped. I just fell over. I was happy just to have a rest, to have a lie down because you're out on your feet, and that was a big wake up call. So the lid came off because I felt like I was dying. You feel like you're strangled, you can't breathe, and that was a massive eye opener for me. That was horrific.
It's resilience as well, and being able to go to the dark places which you don't encompass in 15s. You go to different dark places there. So again, just valuable lessons and learning curves for young men, both on the pitch, off the pitch. And like I said, when it was time to work, it was time to work. So all excuses go out the door. And that was the thing where again, teaching younger players to differentiate between the two. So know your limitations, know your expectations, know yourself, then manage yourself accordingly. Those are delivered probably in a very different way nowadays. Yeah. But they still stand true. Yeah. If you want to become the best version of yourself as a rugby player.
I want to ask you about you as a coach. And it's been a phenomenal journey in that regard. But I'm interested as to how much your playing career has shaped you as a coach. Now, how do you look back on yourself as a player?
Well, average. Being blunt, I mean, I was all right, but I always say I was ahead of my time because I was the only scrum-half that couldn't pass, that played nine. I played with Wasps with Gommers and Andrew Gomersall and Martin Wood. Martin Wood was an exceptional passer of the ball. Gommers was blue-eyed boy, come through the ranks, 18s, 21s, blah blah blah. So I rocked up from South East London, because I was at Wasps as a youngster. I went to Blackheath to get game time because I got so far at Wasps, but back then there was only 2 subs. You either sat on the bench or didn't get on, or you played second team. So I was like, I want to go and play. So I went and played at Blackheath for 4 years, and then came back. But by then, Gomersall was in the England scrum-half. So I had a right old tussle with Gomersall, knocked him out. You had a young Martin Wood coming through. Then you had 3 of us going hammer and tong the whole time. So the reality is, none of us really got a proper... we didn't, and that was good and that was bad, but depending on what side of the coin you landed on, and it was a very different time. So I was a running 9, so that's why I was earmarked to be a 7s player, and I did well and represented England in the 7 stuff. But back then it was looked upon very differently, which is what pissed me off and made me go into the coaching side. Is that we went to the World Cup in 2001, and we had Sampson, we had Joe Worsley. We had a proper decent Saki. We had proper wheels. And literally, we met the night before. We flew out to Argentina. We were playing 3 full metal games in 40 degrees heat the day before we were playing the tournament against Georgia with a coach that wanted to play the same way. Like, play down the channel. And it was like, fuck this. This is shit. Right. So, we've got Josh Lucy and they're going, well, what are you going to do about it, Mike? What are you going to say? What Josh is like from the back. What are you going to do about it, Mike? What are you going to do about it? And I'm like, so I'm having a conversation saying, mate, this isn't working. And I'm at loggerheads. I'm meant to be skippering the team. I'm captaining the team. Then he's got upset with me and angry because I've spoken out. He's dropped me. They lose the game. They bring me back in. And it's like, we ended up putting up a proper fight against New Zealand in the quarterfinal, losing. And losing 19-5 to a rampant Jonah Loam who pissed it and won it. Oh. But, that inspired me to go, do you know what? That's not how it needs to be. That's not how it should be. And that's like for younger players where 7s can be part of that development pathway, which is how it was positioned back then when James played. It got me into it. So I was an all right player, but I had to work hard at what I had and what I did. And I always had a perspective because I was part of that crew that worked and played. Yeah. So even back when in the Wasps days, when the likes of Shawsey and Scribs were off to Nando's, the rest of them are going to go and play PlayStation. I went into the West End and continued doing chartered surveying. Is
that what they're calling it now? The West End, is it? I've done some chartered surveying as well.
Surveying of something.
Just because I knew it wasn't going to last forever. And I was already kind of planning for what was coming afterwards. And maybe that took me a little bit of focus away from concentrating fully on my rugby. And again, Genj last week was saying, I want to do these things, but not at the expense of. So, you know, you pay your money, you take your choice, they're the choices. And I've ended up probably being better on the coaching side than as a player, but kind of position myself as somebody that moulds himself around a player. Yeah. And the player doesn't mould around me, I mould around the player and say, how can I make you the best version of you? Not just as a rugby player, but as a man. And that's kind of been my mantra, was with England, with the younger group, with Kenya, who had nothing, and now with what we're doing with America, it's you've got more of a responsibility, not just as a coach to make them the best version of themselves on the rugby pitch, but also off the pitch. Yeah. You know, we've started things like internship programs and so forth, which had nothing to do with rugby, but they'll make them better versions of them, which hopefully transfers onto the rugby pitch. Yeah.
Quickly in a nutshell, why did Quins not work?
Fucking hell. Oh my God.
Is that quickly in a nutshell, or have
this is typical me as a young man. Like I was in contract negotiations with Smelly, with Nigel Melville, and I thought he was fucking about, and he was messing me about.
Something like Wasps to fuck around.
And I was like, you know, and the reality is I knew what I wanted to get to, and it wasn't a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But it was going to enable me to continue for another 2 years and survey, and we fucked about, and in the end, like Quins came in and said, "Well, we want you to come and sign for this," and I'm like, "Fucking Quins! Oh my God!" I've got to face Volley, I've got to face Shawsey. This is going to be a nightmare. And in the end, I just said to Shawsey and Voles, and I was like, "I'm fucking going, mate. I think he's taking the piss out of me." So and I went, and as soon as I signed and I went, and I'd been there a month. And there were some good people at Quins, and there was some not. But it's a very different Quins to the one that is now. Yeah. It was back then. It was very much them, and I fucking hated it. And 2 months in, I was like, "You dickhead," and literally like.
Why? What was it about?
Well, because they were very individualistic. They were in it. There was a number of those top players who were there for themselves. They were captained by Davey Wilson, the Aussie 7, who was brilliant. And I had some great friends there. But there were some boys there that were there just for them. And everything revolved around them. And they weren't really interested in doing the best for Quins, which was the way that Wasps operated. Yeah, you were selfless for the cause. Yeah. And 6 months later, and it. Like Wasps, and I phoned Nigel. I was like, "Can I come home? I fucked up, mate." And he said, "I didn't think you'd go." And I was like, "Well, yeah, but I thought you was mucking." He said, "Well, I thought you was." So in the end, I was like, "Oh, fuck this." So I had a 2-year deal. I got out of that second year deal, and I went back and I signed for Wasps. And
did you get what you wanted?
And I got what I wanted because I wanted. The important thing for me as well was finishing where I wanted on my terms, because I was always going to go back to Savannah. I didn't want to be a rugby player just to be a rugby player, because if I would have gone abroad after Wasps, but I didn't. I wanted to finish on my terms and go, do you know what? I'm not hanging around to be a rugby player just to say I'm a rugby player. I've done all I'm going to do. I've gone as far as I can go. Yeah. And then I ended up going back to Savannah, and then I had to ask for 12 months off because they want me to go back and do England and do the sevens. Yeah. But to be a player coach. So it was... It was a bizarre kind of 12, 18 months, but learning curve, you got to get it wrong to get it right. Well, I certainly lived up to that.
Proper merry-go-round.
It's good that you can turn around and say, and actually you put your hand up and said it and didn't suffer. And I think that's important, to be able to say, actually, that I went for it, I tried it, because I think you often see it with the players who go to France. It's actually, I think it's particularly one country, but I'm not going to say where these guys go from that.
Which country?
I'm not going to say it, but they go to from one part of the country. They go there, and they only ever last a year or 2 years because they realise they made the wrong decision or it doesn't suit them. Because a lot of people forget, and this is probably a message for a lot of the young players, is that everybody gets caught up with the financials, but actually that's probably third, fourth down the list. Are you going to go there and enjoy it? Are you going to be a better player going? Is it going to make you a better player? Can you or your family, or do you want to be part of it? They're going to look after you. And then the money comes in. Yeah. But everyone gets caught up with the money, and these people sometimes don't even look into it and don't realise. So that was always my thing. I looked at it and I went, what is this going to challenge me? And then the money, the money's important, but there was times when I was at Stad, and I went there for the right reasons. But in that first year, when I had 3 coaches in 1 year, and the bloke that came in was abusing me every day, and I just had to sit. I sat in my bathroom, and it literally became. about the money for that one season. Then Michael Cheika came in and it changed. Let's get through it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people suffer that. But it's fair play. And also you got to go back and do it. That's not
Exactly. And that was,
get to do it.
yeah, it was great. And I went back and all the crew were there and it was like I'd never been away. And it was nice.
You must have had quite an initiation coming back in there.
Oh, well, sometimes the family of the Wasps give you a little bit of forgiveness because I blame Smelly.
So he took it.
Yeah, but I think that's one of the things I think I was very lucky, and I genuinely believe that I would never have had the career I'd had if I hadn't been at Wasps.
With that crew.
Man,
the learning, the learning
been
curve.
accepted though. I think you will probably agree that the early days of Wasps, they actually actively wanted personality. If I think I'd
Waifs
gone
and
to...
strays.
So, for example, if I'd signed for Leicester out of school, for example, I don't think I think they would have just. It would have been a complete clash of personalities, complete clash of demeanour, complete clash of senior players. I went to Wasps, and the senior players and people around the club, and the Rigbys who come back, and those characters, and Dean Ryans, they all, and Buster White's, they all part of this family. And a Wasps player is always a Wasps player, and you always have that kind of distinct thing. And I genuinely believe that I was so lucky, and I would never have had the adventures I'd had if I hadn't done that.
This would be a very different show if you'd gone to Leicester.
Imagine that.
Monosyllabic.
Yeah.
Yes. No. No. Yes.
I phoned John O. What did he say?
The brow came down.
Yeah. John would have, I told you, John, before when he said he used to say when he was England coach, he used to look at me and I'll be laughing and I just feel his eyes burning into me. And he goes, I would have fucking loved to play against you. And he's another one who's like seething. Made a lot of people seethe who just wanted to. There's a lot of people who just missed out on filling me in.
I wonder if John O voted for you and I'm a Celebrity. Get me out.
He would have to admit that he'd watched it. It's never happening.
Never going to happen. You are watching and listening House of Rugby together with Guinness, with me, Alex Payne, alongside James Haskell and the USA Sevens coach, an all-round geezer that is Mr. Mike Friday. It's very nice to have you with us. Still to come, we're going to talk Sevens, the Olympics. We've got an NFL-related perfect pool. But this week on Liquid Football, Steve Sidwell told Kelly Cates about the song that the fans used to sing to him from the terraces. Have a listen to this.
But I went recently. I took my middle son Rocco, his Sunday League team, Chips did, for a Christmas sort of present as such. And we was in there. It was a Brighton game, and the fans started singing my song, which is it's. What's that?
Yeah. Come on then. Started it, so come on.
It's a similar. I think they sing it about David Luiz as well at Chelsea. Oh, Stevie Sidwell, you are the love of my life. Oh, Stevie Sidwell, I'll let you shag my wife. Oh, Stevie Sidwell, I want ginger head. And literally, when I was playing, they was all singing it, and I'd look into the crowd, and there'd be men singing it, and their wife would be just just like one of them, or some of them like getting them, like things like that.
They singing it as well?
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
So that is Liquid Football every week with Kelly Cates and the team, and you can get that in your earballs and your eyeballs on Mondays. A little bit more about you, just about how you got into. Is it true your coaching career started in football than rugby? Have I made that up?
Well, no. I didn't play rugby at school. I was a football player.
What position? What kind of player? Yeah, football.
Funny enough, right foot.
You were the ball, weren't you?
Right foot, yeah. Right foot, but then maybe play left midfield. Purely simply because I just run all day. And
what was your football? What was your team?
Ravenswood. Ravensbourne, sorry, no, Ravensbourne. Worst week of my life at school. But no, normal. I just went to a football school, and I used to just play on a Sunday rugby down at the local club, Blomley Rugby Club. That's where I used to play. And I was into soccer, but I wasn't quite good enough. Yeah. So
how did you get from football to rugby?
Well, just playing on a Sunday, and then
somebody tapped you up and said,
"Well, I was playing." No, I got sent to the Kent school trials as an 18-year-old, right? And I was at Albion College by then, which was a poor excuse for a college. And literally, I rocked up, and they were like, "What school are you?" I was like, "Oh, Albion College." And literally got just cast to the side. And I'd already got into Kent under-19s as a 17-year-old, but I was too young to play for Kent 19s, so I had to go to the schools. So and I got nothing. And then a year later, I went back to that Kent 19s, and then Wasps saw me, and were following me. And then I was at the London stuff with Lawrence, and Eileen, his mum, got talking to my mum saying, "You need to bring your boy to Wasps. So it was Eileen on the recruitment trail again.
Eileen was amazing. Eileen used to push me, God rest her. She was amazing. What a character she was. Lawrence's mum was one of the best, nicest person. She was like,
Did she know you?
Yeah, so I used to sit.
She knew everyone.
She knew everyone, but she was
everyone.
brilliant. So she would, when I first came to Wasps as like a kind of a fan, as a 14, 15-year-old watching, it would getting to meet Lawrence Dallaglio's mum was a beat. And
better than meeting Lawrence.
Better than meeting Lawrence. She had better chat than Lawrence. And like character-wise, she was just incredible. Such a strong-willed woman. Like really
Amazing.
Passionate about supporting. Like one of those people, knew everything. Wasn't scared to tell coaches, to tell everyone. And she actively, Lawrence just would try to walk past, and she'd be like, Lawrence, come here, say hello to this, and she gave me one of his jackets. And she put so much time into me. And then when I and always support me through my career. She was a brilliant lady. She was it was incredible. She went to her funeral. It was very, it was really kind of, obviously sad that she passed away. But she was brilliant, and she would be not frightened to order anyone around. And she befriended my mum. Same thing. When you get into this rugby world, because Lawrence is obviously, probably one of the greatest to ever do it, and one of the most famous people ever. And you meet his mum's like, well, I tell him to do this, and you see her bollocking Lawrence, like, fucking hell. And she's telling my mum, this is what you need to do with him, this is what you need to do. It's amazing.
That's how she was. And again, like, we just, when we played in the Middlesex Sevens, he just won that World Cup '91 with the Sevens.
Oh, yeah.
And then we played as all the youngsters, me, Volley, LD, Scracy. We played in the Middlesex Sevens that won that year. 93
93 at Murrayfield.
And he had a riverboat back then.
He lived on a houseboat.
He lived on a houseboat. Him and Scracy lived on a houseboat. Yeah. And like always, I was over that weekend, and his mum was on the phone next morning, and she's critiquing him on the phone, and he's like, "Yes, mum. Yes." Who else is there? Well, Mike said, "Oh, didn't he do well?" Scracy was, "Oh, didn't he do well?" And he come on, and we're like, "Oh, I think we're in the clear."
Thank God.
She would bollock you, wouldn't she?
Oh yeah.
I've seen her. Who did I see? I saw her once bollocking. Someone came to a game. I don't know if it was Andy Robinson or Clive, or somebody came. Or one of
Jack
the coaches.
Rowell, she had a pop with Jack Rowell about not picking Lowell. Yeah.
You
need to pick my boy.
Yeah. She did. Yeah, literally cornered him. Was like, were you not picking him? So and so. Like, mate, she was fierce but wonderful.
Brilliant lady.
Key part of what makes Wasps. I want to move on to your coaching career. I'm going to throw it out there. So you mentioned about the Quins, and it was a bit edgy. There's always quite a lot of fire around Mike Friday. Is that a fair comment or not? If you look at where you've been and what you've done. A little bit of fire around England, a little bit of fire around Kenya. I'm not saying this is always on you, but there is always a bit of fire. Is that purely coincidence, or
no? It's part of me. Yeah. I think, especially the younger me. I was very, very passionate and very, very player centred. And as a younger man, as a coach, I would only see it one way.
Yeah.
And for making sure that I did the best I could to develop the players.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would say that I got things wrong in the wider context, and I wanted the typical small man syndrome, right? I wanted to win every battle, just in case somebody said I was short. And literally, in my, I remember, I look back at when I coached England and some of the fire that's attached to that, and some of it I regret.
Yeah.
And I think if I had my time again, I would do differently with a number of people. There's some of it that I was very passionate about and called right.
Yeah.
I still think that, but I think there's always a better way. When there was a better way to do certain things.
Yeah.
Kenya was just a whole different experience.
Where were you based in Kenya?
I was based in Nairobi, along the Ngong Road, opposite the KIU offices. I mean, mate, the boys were phenomenal. Like, really? I mean, the beast, like Spartan 300, what we turned them into, like Ambaka, Amonde, Oscar Ruma. Just literally, we gave them some supplementation and proper food, and they just would ping muscles from everywhere. But the board, there's something that happens in Africa, like when you get this title director, then all of a sudden you become a very different person, and it's very corrupt. And yes, everybody can have a slice of cake, but not before me.
Right.
And it became, again, injustice is a big Achilles heel for me, and more so as a younger man, and that's the fire.
Yeah,
I think what I've learned as you grow as a coach is you can still be true to the players and still mould yourself around them, but you need a perspective and a reality, and you've got to realise you can't win every battle, but you can still protect the players to allow them to become what they are. So I would probably say you're fair and you're right on that.
Have you put the fires out now? I mean, are the fires out at the RFU? Do you have correspondence and chats there?
It's like a tyre fire, innit? It burns for 100 years. Down the RFU.
I mean, the reality is, don't forget, let's just Amor's what he's doing now. Amor was my captain.
Absolutely.
I mentored him
Eddie
in his
Jones
early
just moved him up to the. Which
so
is brilliant news.
Conor O'Shea's back there, and I got on well with Conor, and again we were doing the legend stuff in the summer out in Sardinia. So the people, let's just say where the Fires probably were, they have moved on as well.
Yeah.
I visited Kenya back in December, probably the first time in a long time.
Because I was going to ask you about that. Because the reason I asked the question, I remember when you met years ago, but we did hours and hours and hours of Seven Studios in Sky. I've never seen a man eat more chocolate.
Yeah. Well, you have Ollie Phillips.
Ollie Phillips probably just edges it, but
he was obsessed with that chocolate. Unbelievable.
Scenes.
You know, like when we were living in France, I was on a strict diet looking after Rick, and he'd be like, "So what you just."
What do you call him? Augustus Gloop.
Augustus Gloop. Yeah, that's what he was.
Michael Checker called him the accountant, didn't he? He said he was like accountant running around like a 60-year-old accountant. He'd come in and be like, "Oh, just got a little something for you." Pull out chocolate, but that's not part of the diet. But then what he did is because he's insidious, he'd get in under your skin. So every 4 games I'll be doing it, on the Friday before a Saturday game. He's a chocoholic. He's pulling chocolate out of everywhere.
Learned from this man here. But the Kenya, because I can remember talking to you about the Kenya thing.
Yeah.
And there was so much. It was an amazing story.
Yeah.
But I remember your frustration off the back of it. Did that get nasty, or did it just get
No, it didn't get nasty. I think the
comfortable?
reality is it's the only job I've had to walk away from.
That's right.
Like proper walk away from is because I was waking up to like 70, 80 emails a day, and it was one half of the board trying to do the other half of the board over with crass politics and using the white kid in the middle.
Right.
And I had sat the boys down in Sri Lanka, and I had 6 of my senior boys out there at this Carlton Sevens invitational stuff, and I just said, lads, I want to see it through because I was loving it, I was enjoying it. We'd done so well in a year, and I just said, I can't do it. It's going to make me ill. But there was tears. There was real tears. These boys are the big lad. Amonde don't cry, right? Yeah. Trust me, he doesn't. You see him, but these boys, we had a real strong bond, and I've had a real strong sense of kind of a parenting, fatherly figure with them. But I just said I can't carry on. So that was a tough call for me.
Yeah.
But I had to do it.
Do you keep in touch with them?
Yeah.
From the bit?
So I still see they're still on the circuit. Most of those boys have gone on, and they carried that mantra on.
Yeah.
And they won Singapore 2 or 3 years later. They're all senior men now. They're all coming to them. Their swan song will be probably Tokyo 2020. But they're good. They're good, hard-working, honest rugby players. They're good men.
It's so Wasps. I was just going to very quickly say, it's so Wasps almost to fight with the authority, but to have the most incredible, which you do. You have the most incredible buy-in from the players that you work with. England, Kenya, US.
I try not to fight with the authority now.
No, I know. But as a firebrand and as a young man.
I was going to ask something, because obviously we did the Seven stuff, and when you're a player, you're so focused on yourself, and I'm quite self-interested at the best of times anyway. So you don't really look at coaching. But obviously, when you start, I do business stuff. You start looking at different people. So I read Ben Ryan's book about that, and he one of the things he references was your desire to fight injustice. Always feeling agreement. But Michael Checker was exactly the same.
Yeah.
And actually, when they asked me about it in the World Cup, I said he loves to have had something happen or someone, because that's what he rallies the boys around, because he's a player-centred coach. And I think sometimes that's a good thing where because you've got the interest of the interest of the players in front of you, you want to get the best out of them. And when somebody upsets that or you feel injustice, you feel it even more because you have such a passionate bond, even though there is a clear you're in charge. I wondered, you said you've moved away from that. How have you moved away from that? Because I think sometimes it can be really important in a coach, because when Checker used to say to us, go over and do this, he would be the first one. I saw him throw a cameraman down the stairs. Yeah, we were fired up. Do you know what I mean? He's the first one to go in there, and I would expect pretty similar from you.
No, and you don't lose that fire. But I think what you do with age or what you do with experiences is that you consciously, if I decide to go, I decide.
When was the last time you went?
Probably Dubai and Cape Town, because of trying to deal with these format stuff, where again it's frustrating because it's not in the best interest of the game and so forth. But if you consciously decide to go, that's not a problem. I think when I look back at especially some of the England stuff as a younger guy, and when I look back to my time in business as well with the surveying firm, kind of when I was running teams, where again you had to deal with a lot of stuff, is that there's times where I went and it wasn't my choice.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's a young man's trait.
Right.
Especially if you're driven like that way, and I know I am driven like that way. So it's just being kind of consciously
You've
aware.
harnessed it in the right way now, so you use it when you need it, but
exactly.
it doesn't come out unnaturally.
You can't change who you are, and you've always got to be authentic and true to yourself. But there's what I have learned as well over the time through dealing with numerous things in the business world and dealing with sport is that there's more than one way to skin a cat. Do you know what I mean? And you've got to use those tools to get where you need to get to for the best interest of the crew.
Yeah.
And the bigger the organisation, the more you have to realise that you have to be patient and careful about how you plot that path. Yeah.
Because Sean Edwards was a bit like that. I remember, he would always be like, I mean, I told this too, when this guy once came in for the RPA, he's great, but came in and was like, did a talk about half an hour, 40 minutes about player burnout. I don't know if he told this story, player burnout. Everyone's like listening, go, Christ, you probably do overtrain a bit. All the lads are like, Sean Edwards, everyone left the room. Right. So Sean went, right, lads, get back in that fucking room. He stood there going, right, player burnout. Right. You're paid to be fucking rugby players. If you want to burn out, you fuck off now. No one in here is burnt out. You burnt out, Jez. Like, absolutely not. You burnt out. Right. Shut the fuck up. There's no such thing as burnt out. Get out, right? Obviously thoughts have moved on, but it was amazing. This RPA's guy shitting himself in the corner because he completely poo-pooed it, destroyed it, because all the lads were like ready to start marching on the fact we were overtraining. He was like, it doesn't exist, lads. Fucking bollocks, right? But I remember Sean would like, if ever players were dangerous or whatever, or things, he would hate that. I remember we went down to Bath one day to play, and it had been frozen, right? And they didn't have under pitch heating, or they got lucky to have a standing bath with the whole wreck. But they had it had all water, and it had frozen, right? The pitch was solid, and they were trying to play the game because I think Bath needed the points or vice versa. Yeah. So the referee's gone to inspect the pitch, right? And it's like this. And the Bath guys are leaning over, going, "Well, we could probably do that." And Sean's like, "No, mate, that's dangerous. Like player welfare, right? That's dangerous. Not player." Referees like umming and ahhing. Then Matt Banahan comes ice skating over the top of the field because it's that frozen. And Sean's like, "Man, look at fucking Banahan ice skating on the field. We're not playing." And all the Bath coaches are looking around, going, "Banahan, you dickhead,
get back in the change room."
Yeah, but Sean was brilliant at that. Except when came to play us at Adams Park, and the pitch heating got switched off, and it froze. It was like we had to sail.
You had injury problems.
Yeah, we had injury problems. Yes. We wouldn't have finished. Sail came all the way down. Mysteriously, the under pitch heating got turned off, so the pitch was frozen. I think they were out watering it the night before. Called off the game. We played them the following week, battered them, and then got through and won the final. But there was a lot of it was almost like Flaggate. Remember Flaggate with Bath, the flammable flags?
Yes,
that was a low point.
That was very low for the game.
I love that.
I'd love to talk Kenya with you, but we're sort of slightly running out of time. I'd love America, US.
Yeah.
Is it the sleeping giant that everyone thinks it is, or is it just sleeping?
It could be. I think. Look,
genuinely,
it could be. I think.
What's it going to take to properly awaken?
The long and the short of it is that they need rugby to be positioned in the high schools. Like the golden age to learn rugby is 13 to 18.
Yeah. And
the reality is that unlike any other country in the world, college scholarships drive ambition.
Yeah.
And rugby will never be an NCAA sport, because whatever you do for the men, you have to do for the women, and 54 of those spots are taken up with American football. So all your best athletes will chase college scholarships with football. Yeah. So we are currently tracking 5 or 6 that are, as you would say, are college scholarships, D1A, D2, playing football.
What does that mean?
Well, they're either a D1 college or a D2 college. The reality is they're shit hot athletes,
right?
That played rugby between the ages 11 and 18, but they're chasing the NFL, chasing the money. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And they're also chasing a free college education. So they'll be sleeping for 4 years. If they don't make it, we got touch points then that they can hopefully come back to us. So there's a couple of wide receivers, there's a couple of running backs, things like that. And they're like the Nate Ebner blueprint, where it takes me 6-9 months for a really good rugby player that's not played for 4 years to bring it from the back of the head to the front of the head, then they can play. But if you're a crossover athlete that only starts playing the game at college at 19, the only place you can probably play is on the wing.
Right.
And that's what Perry and Carlin were. So you imagine the athletic capability in America, that if they played in high school and they just played one term that complemented football or basketball, and they loved it and they fell in love with it, which they would. Now, only 1% will ever make it to the NBA or the NFL. The other 99% that have played, that are all athletically gifted, they come out the other end. All of a sudden, you will have rugby mature athletes that will probably not mature like here in the UK and the Southern Hemisphere by the time they're 23, 24, might be 25.
Yeah.
but there's so many of them, it's a numbers game. And you lay that on top with wrestlers, you know, which go to dark places that could be your props and things like that. It could be mental. That's on the men's side. The women's side, they could mop up. If it becomes a varsity sport because they've got with the NCAA, because they've got to couple it with...
What is NCAA? Sorry.
It's their National College Athletic Association, which if they get that, or that kind of blue tick, where it gets recognised that it can be a varsity sport. So they've got 54 spots with men, they've got to find a team sport for women. So if they can create rugby to do that, that's their free college scholarship, that means all the best athletes will just go for that. Yeah. Well, women's rugby is 20, 25 years behind from a professionalism from when we started in 95 to when they probably started 3 or 4 years ago. The athletic capability in America is ridiculous. So the opportunity is there, but for that to happen, there's a 20-year time lag. Right. So if they got given the 15s World Cup in, say, 31, which would be not the next one, the one after, and World Rugby got their strategy in place like they did for Japan 12 years ago, it's a real possibility. But because
the rumour is, it's obviously France inked in, potentially Australia, then the US is the one they're looking
so
for.
So it would align, but that's no good if they don't work back and they don't invest, because it's going to take a massive investment in the community, the club game, to create the opportunities for these athletes to consider alternatives. They're never going to change their goals for being NFL and NBA, nor should they. But you don't. But
it's a second opportunity.
You don't need them to. No. And then you could create a proper front five athlete base. If you create a proper front five athlete base, you can play test match rugby. Yeah. If you haven't got front five, it don't matter how good your backs are or how good your back rows, they can't play. Yeah. Because
quickly on the World Cup, would you do it across the entire states, or would you do it East Coast, West? Would you sort of localise it?
I think the reality is, like, again, the states is so big. You don't actually need to hit every state. You just need to hit the rugby hotbeds. There's kind of 6 or 7 states. I mean, Texas is the size of France. So you create 6 or 7 state hotbeds. Yeah. The reality is you create what you need, and then the better players will gravitate to those states because they are very mobile in America. They're used to travelling and flying and going where they need to go, and they'll gravitate to the states that are user friendly, and they'll do that at a high school level as well. Yeah. So you don't need to hit all 50 states, and you'd be silly too. You need to go to where you're naturally strong: Southern California, Northern California, Utah, Massachusetts, Texas, Colorado.
Game on.
Exactly.
Absolutely fascinating. So there's obviously a huge potential in terms of the players. I know you like sort of harvesting information from other. I mean, you've got an amazing bed of coaches out there. Have you dipped into NFL, NBA?
Yeah, I obviously spent a bit of time with the Patriots. Not this year, hasn't gone well for them.
So you've done time with Belichick.
I went up there after Rio with Ebner. We went up there, spent some time there. Again, very very interesting.
What is that like?
Well, I mean, ridiculously how they learn. So again, you go into the offense room, you go into the defense room. The defense learn by pictures and video. The offense learn by words, mental, analytical, and visual. And like,
what would you be, James? Pictures or words?
I would be. I'd have to pictures and watch it, but I'd have to walk. I'd have to do it. You know, that's the thing. You know, like to learn the playbook. I could learn things. I can obviously because I can read. Best-selling author. Don't worry about it. But I can read and everything like that, and I could see the picture. I'd have to go through it. Yeah, I couldn't just see words and then just go out and do it.
But that is
extraordinary.
The offense boys like Brady and all that mob. They literally. They were in. I did the defense one. It was interesting. You watch the video, a bit like me, a visual learner and things like that. But
they're X's and O's. You mean the offense? Literally diagrams.
No. Written plays, and then what they do is they go up to the virtual room and they walk it. So they just walk the things. Yeah, I mean it's very very different, but because it's a very close skill orientated. And the problem is I've got Ebner going, what goes on in the offense room? I'm like, mate, you've been here 6 years. You don't know what goes on in the offense.
No crossover.
No crossover. And then it's interesting. You walk in the offense room, right? There was no chairs. I had to sit at the back, and there's all that. You know that front line, the offense line. The front. I mean, they're fucking giants. And I'm like
giant.
Literally, you can imagine me like Gulliver's Travels. I walk in there and I'm like, mate,
walking between the legs.
There's an English bloke coming in here, and he's going, these blokes. Literally, the first 15 minutes they get all their work, and they say, mate, you boys can go. You probably got to go and eat or something, or they're going to lose their concentration, and then the brains trust of Brady, the running backs and the wing, the wide receivers.
Where was it? Yeah.
They all do their stuff, and then they'll go up to the virtual team. They don't have the front line there because the front line are just going to stand there and block people, and they walk through everything. And then they go out and they train for 2 hours, military, how they go. And then they come back in and they will then review everything. I mean, it's a long day, 7 till 7, 7 till 9 at night if you're a rookie. And it's interesting. The one area which surprised me was their S&C. Like, you got an hour, mate, get it done.
It's not as you think it is, isn't it? Like, I spoke to a couple of people.
Because I tell you why. Because they're like, if you don't do it,
you ain't going to
you're gone, mate. Well, you're gone because I've got 12 ready. 1 in 12 ready. It's not like.
But also, I always thought because the athletic prowess of NFL players.
Yeah.
But actually, the I was speaking to Wadey at the start. He said you don't get a lot of speed. So, for example, because you've got those long days, in terms of the intensity of working on speed and footwork, you don't get naturally a lot of time to focus on it. So then you have to do it out of hours, but then it's very difficult to do it out of hours. So because I always perceived them as making them athletes, but it's more often than not, they're already ready-made.
That's the point.
Unbelievable athletes. And he's just tuning them up,
That's my saying that. You get to college where about, could rugby...
Yeah.
The athletic ability in the country is phenomenal. What they invest in them at high school.
Is it just because of the depth of...
It's numbers.
This is numbers.
It's the genetics, because if you think there's such a diverse... It's such a diverse place. Like, just the Islander population, the African American population, the Hispanic population, as well as the standard white population. It's huge. So there's a numbers game. There's the athletic ability, and the way that they are invested in at high school if they show potential in college. It's ridiculous. I mean, I've been into some high schools kind of facilities.
Better than any Premiership team going.
And some. Like better than, and you go into some of the college ones, it's ridiculous.
But some of those college guys, 100,000 people watching a college game. 60, 70,000 to 100,000 people watching a college game.
They play for free because they finance the university. So like Virginia Tech, it's 120,000. I mean, it bounces. There's a Sandman, it just bounces.
But, like a whole town goes and watches one particular team. It's insanity, and that's why it's always interesting when, because they can't take any money. So, because back in the day, your mum's mum would suddenly be driving around in a Range Rover and all, but then they take that. They took a couple of Heisman trophies away, didn't they? I don't know if it was Michael Vick they took away, or they
Reggie Bush.
Reggie Bush it was got his Heisman Trophy taken away because they found he'd been boosted, paid off, given money, given a trainer deal. But it is incredible. That's the one thing I would love to have done is gone to college in America and played and actually been good. If I'd been good enough, got done, something like that, played on that level, because they are heroes. I mean, even then, when they go into NFL, some make it,
clean hearts.
I mean, that's what makes what Wadey's doing just phenomenal. And Shaggy, Alex Gray. I mean, fair play. I mean, but
he's getting on all right, isn't he?
He's doing well, but I think I'm so excited to see what happens with Wadey next year if they do activate him, because his first 2 touches were
ridiculous.
Just box office. Like, even like my boys and the American boys who were waiting for him to trip up because they're like, they've all done a bit of football. They're like, oh, fair play.
Really?
Yeah, fair play. I mean, the comedy bit was Wadey trying to run under the
sticks. Yeah, I saw that. He ran around to make the conversion easier.
I love that. But also, he would have got another touchdown because, he on that second one, when he beat everyone, he ran inside, but if he'd run on the outside, he had a blocker. Yeah. You're not used to that because if you don't have that, right, he would have blocked him and he would have gone and scored another touchdown.
And that one would have been unreal.
Yeah, that would have been like champagne. But I mean, the first one was incredible. I'm excited to see it. But it's very interesting what you say, because so much of people, rugby players over here, look to NFL and go, their S&C must be fantastic. But I remember talking to the guy that was a second row from Saracens.
Yeah.
Do you remember the big unit?
Landry, was it?
No, I can't remember what his name is now. But he was, and he went over there, and he said that the conditioning for him just completely went. He said, their idea of a bit of fitness was shuttles, but nothing really, because they, he said that the worst it would ever get as if they did a quick play, drive, quickly go again, because normally you shuffle on reset. Exactly. If you do 4 drives, people are blowing out of their arses.
I mean, have you ever seen Brady run?
No.
He's like a giraffe on ice. It's embarrassing when you watch him run.
Hayden Smith, yeah.
He went back to Saracens.
Yeah, he did, yeah. Because I tried to do some NFL stuff.
Oh, did you?
I've not told you this.
No?
Yeah, so I basically met with NFL Europe, met with the NFL people, but I had to go and have knee surgery.
What stage of your career?
I was 25. It was before I was just about to leave the Wasps. I'd just come back from Wasps, 26 or something, and I basically decided that I was too old, A, B, I'd never played. It was too much of a risk, and I just ended up having patella tendon surgery, so I didn't go and do it. But I explored it, went through it, spoke to Haysmith. He was lovely. Spoke to an agent, did everything, started trying to meet people. But it just never worked out. I don't think I would have been any good at it, but I quite like the idea of just simplifying my game. Right, you just got to defend. Read these plays, just hit people.
Yeah, it's
Perfect game,
phenomenal.
Did you have a cup of tea and a hobnob with Belichick, Brady?
No, I mean, it's interesting. Like Belichick came in, we chatted. It was more I can't remember his name, the defense coach who's now since moved on to be a head coach. He just spent time with them. I mean, Belichick's very process driven, very, very nice,
Friendly, warm,
friendly-ish for him. I mean, if you watch his press conferences, that is him. Hugely analytical, no emotion, says how it is. When he addresses the team, you're left under no illusion where you stand.
Yeah.
And that's kind of their hierarchy, is that he very much is that detached figurehead, and the defence and the offence they're like the assistant coaches who are you're right, mate. That's how they operate. And you see that in rugby. I struggle to operate like that. I can't dissect myself. I can draw a line with a player when we're having banter and when this is a serious conversation, and I think you can do that if you position it right. Yeah. I don't sense that with Belichick.
Yeah.
And how he addresses when coaches come in is very, very standardised, probably because he has to be.
Yeah.
But he's a normal. He's knowledgeable. He loves his hoodies.
Yeah.
And he had a keen interest in what the rugby was doing.
So I was going to ask that. Was he? Did he ask as well as tell?
Yeah, more so because obviously Ebner had been with us.
Yeah.
So he became invested, and Ebner off the back of that came back after the Olympics, got in the special teams all-star team. He got into that the year after. I mean, a hell of a year. He won the NFL, won the Super Bowl, came with us to the Olympics, and then went back and won another one. So
that's unbelievable.
Yeah, and then he had the best year of his life after the Olympics, purely and simply because his conditioning base and how he'd been tailored meant he was actually in a very good place physically to go into that kind of backup season.
And what was he like as a rugby player?
Again, I mean,
what is the difference between an NFL player who you plug in and a rugby player?
Well,
who
this is the point. He is a rugby player that went to the NFL. So Nate's story is he was a rugby player till he was 17. Ohio State walk-on. So he went to Ohio State and was a walk-on onto their team, and then got his scholarship. He wasn't recruited.
Yeah.
And then he got himself in the draft because he was like I don't know what round he was in the draft of the Patriots, but they watched him, they picked him, and he had the right behaviours and the right traits. And he's, again, in special teams, he's able to do the defensive reads, a bit more of a decision-making role, which is more akin to rugby. And he's got a work ethic and a resilience through the traumas he's had in life that make him the person he is. I mean, he's super humble, super hardworking.
Yeah.
He's not what you would think about all those whoopers, all of that malarkey.
I've got no.
You've been listening to the House of Rugby.
Well, he
on
lost his
Joe,
father. His father was murdered.
With Guinness.
And him and his father were like this.
Visit drinkaware.co.uk.
He had a lot to deal with as a young man, 17, and his dad was a rugby man. So the big thing for him, the big pilgrimage was to in honour his father and finish what he said he would finish, because he wears the wristband which says "Finish Strong," which is the Ebner way. And he's a good man. He's an honest man, and like I say, it's interesting. The films certainly don't portray the Patriots and NFL players how they are. I mean, these boys are all business on a training day, on the pitch, in the classroom, around the place, how they interact with one another, and how they interact with people that are invited in to spend time with them. Very, 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 very interesting insight for me, and a great organisation. And Ebner is, he's the sort of person you'd want in your change room, because you'd look him in the eye and you go, "You ready to go?" We're like, "Yeah, I'm ready to go." "Where are we going?" And right, and then he'd empty. Come back, he'd back you up, he'd support you, he'd make sure you didn't fall over. So, he's a good man. He's a good man.
It's interesting that you put him in such good shape that he was able to kick on with that pre-season and go again and turn up and do that, isn't it? Because a lot of them do off-season training, don't they? A lot of the training days. Some of them aren't allowed into the facility, but they're expected to do it.
Yeah.
But I can imagine going and doing, especially sevens, the discipline, how fit the engine all the requirements, how that would make you sharper, and then go on and absolutely kill it.
Yeah, and the contact resilience work. I mean, that was the floor conditioning, the repeated efforts that you talk about that you don't get in the 15s regime that you get in the 7s.
Do you still think? Because this is one thing I've said it on other shows about my time with you guys. I genuinely believe now when people talk about game time for young players in the Premiership, and there's obviously big squads now. A lot of people don't get game time. Second team league is okay, but it's irregular. It's not all that great a lot of the time. I thought that pathway stuff with the sevens was incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
What was your opinion?
You said last week that he's the best coach you played under. One of the best coaches you played under. Why was that?
Just because I felt the attention to detail. I felt the whole package of going into that 7 circuit being, it's the core skills of the game. Undiluted, right? But being there and being in a fun environment, which was the first thing, enjoying what I was doing, being taught and broken down and encouraged in a way that made me a better player, being constantly helped to be a better player, going out there and putting it into practice, then coming back to my team, in a better, more confident place, and actually testing myself and playing rugby. When you get into a Premiership cycle, you play a Saturday, you have Sunday off, Monday you come in, you go round. There isn't a lot of time for player development because you're trying to win, because of relegation, because of the pressures and everything else. But with the sevens, even there was a build-up time to do that, and he did it very well, communicated very well, was very passionate, very honest about things, just created a good atmosphere. And I think, you said it was a player-centered coach, and I think with Phil as well, he's pretty uncompromising, Phil, when he wants to be. But he played in a certain way. Remember he played as England in that Six Nations? He played like no hooker had ever played before. Did stuff
2000.
Did stuff that like no other hooker had done before, and he did that, and he was like that at Wasps. And him and I became friends, and he coached, and he was hard. He was like, "No, you're overthinking this. This is what you need to do. This is what we need to expect." But he did everything with the physicality, and I just think it was a really good time for me, and I wish I'd done more because I got invited to Hong Kong 3 times. Wasps never let me go. Got asked to Wellington twice, never got to go. Got asked to Singapore, never got to go. The only things I ever did were Dubai and George.
And Samurai in Amsterdam.
And Samurai in Amsterdam, and
hairs on the chest.
And that for me, I think was one of the best things. I look at young players now who. You get to go and compete at a high level because I know England haven't taken it not taken it seriously, but haven't had the investment from the clubs. We're doing a different route. You're telling me that the players going out of these clubs who are used to only one thing, which is rugby, going on the world circuit, having to travel, having to be resilient, having to deal with different hotels, different travel requirements, having to back games up, having to play, train, put their core skills, take them back into Premiership training, call them out again. It was invaluable. I think they've gone completely and utterly the wrong way. I think for me it was the best part of my early years, and I'm thankful for getting to do it because I got to we won middle 6-7s with Wasps. And it's hard, it's attritional. I remember when we played against Leicester, fucking talk about Joe Lohman, Henry Tuolangi. Leicester have wheeled Henry Tuolangi off the loading dock, right? And you're like in 7s. Honestly, I was like, "Are you serious?" And I think Sean was coaching. We basically the way we played was like we were blitz defending everything. We just went,
close him out.
Yeah, we went completely out of the book. They were like counter rucking everything. Blitz and everything, and and they went.
That
Henry
is double
Tuolangi.
quits.
And I saw
double
honestly,
quits.
Henry Tuolangi got the ball, and I was like, he's done a step. I've literally full Joe Worsey round the ankles. But luckily, he only had 3 runs in him before they had to take him back off again because he was about 130 kgs. But luckily, we never let him get speed because it would have been horrific. They would have been chiselling people off the front of him.
Flies on the windscreen.
What's your thing? Do you think that is what part of it? Is it changed?
I think it's still very pertinent, and I think I get the strains and the stresses to the Premiership clubs, but I think if they are truly interested in investing in growing and developing their players for the long term, then they have to be prepared to live without them for 12, 18 months.
Yeah.
And I think in your day, you could come in and out. With the nature of the way the 7th circuit is now, it's pretty unforgiving, more so. But the reality is, what 22-year-old can a Premiership club not do without for a year? I mean, Jesus, if you're building your Premiership club on a 22-year-old, there's something going on here. And I think when I look at the players that I did get back in those early days, they weren't even in their 23s. By the end of the year, some of them were going on the England A tour. And they say it was that pathway that helped them confidence, ability, learning, different environments.
You're having international quality performance under pressure.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Fascinating. I mean, it's a whole other show and pathway and development. And I hope you'll come back and we can do it on time. Did you have dinner with Brady and Giselle?
Brady.
Brady,
NFL?
Giselle.
No.
never went by
He
South
supports the
Africa.
South Africans, doesn't he?
He does. Well, he cocked that right up,
He
didn't
got
he?
absolutely
He cocked that
abused.
right up. He did a good luck to the box
Good luck
video
to the
in the World
box
Cup.
video. So, like, Ebner went like, fuck
What are you
that.
doing?
Just ruled him out, got him in a USA shirt. All the American boys let him have it. And fair play. I mean, he's like, well,
I don't know what I'm doing.
why wouldn't I support the box?
Who am I meant to be looking
He
at?
just dazzled them with the 6
How wrong was he proved?
It's a winning mentality. He spotted it, didn't he?
Time for this week's Guinness Perfect Pour. Our weekly test in 119.5 seconds, because that's how long it takes to pour the perfect pint of Guinness. This week, in honour of Mike's connection to the States and the Super Bowl semi-finals this weekend, can I just say one thing, which is we've done 60 shows, and producer Simon Wizard drops in a little bit that he is right on the money for this NFL chat. He just basically wants to be here at the table discussing.
Just before I started sparring today, and I was like,
He's very excited
I'll
about
do some research to that.
Very excited about the Super Bowl semi-finals this weekend. Our perfect pour is NFL related. Geese and Hask, we want 7 players currently playing in World Rugby who could fill 7 positions in an NFL team. We will go through them one by one. Have you done a bit of research on this? That's it. Devil's in the detail. Which current rugby player in the global game would be a useful quarterback? Smart, leader, great passer, great vision.
Owen Farrell? For me?
You go Faz, would you?
Yeah. Quarterback.
Meh.
I'd go Cipriani.
Would you?
Lovely. Oh, shit. I've done
Is there room for
so-
flair in the
Matt, I should
NFL?
Huh?
Is there room for flair in the NFL?
I think there's room for the man that comes up with the big play at the big time, and I think if you wanted mechanical,
Yeah.
and I respect Faz as a rugby player, but if you want somebody who's prepared to front up and do it when it matters and risk getting it wrong when it matters, then
He's your Hail Mary if you're down by 6.
He'd fit into the Sips would be great in those huddles, with the thing and the whooping and all that
Is
stuff.
he good at that?
How do you do that with the sevens? Have you cut that out or you still encourage
you
them?
can't. I mean, you do what you need to do. The worst thing is every half-time huddle, right? Remember, they used to always have to, apologise for the swearing.
Yeah.
So I've curbed that habit in the half-time huddle. I don't swear at all now. And as soon as I leave, Danny Barrett literally lets rip with 4 fucks within 30 seconds. And I'm like, I would like to apologise for Mike Friday. I'm like, Danny.
It's the only broadcasting I ever used to do on the Sevens was
How
coming in
good
to
was-
apologise for the language.
How good was Ray Lewis as well with them in those, in those huddles? But if you ever watched it, he just some of those blokes, they're
America's
so
game.
inspirational,
So you've got Farrell Sips.
Yeah.
You're running back, tough, agile, fast, quick, great runner with the ball in his hands.
I will go with Wadey. I think it'd be
That's
great.
too
Wadey.
easy though, isn't
I
it?
went with Radra.
Oh, you're saying around Randra.
wow.
Running back,
Wow.
Radra.
That is a good shout,
Right,
actually.
yeah.
Fuck, man. He is unplayable. He's unplayable.
He's unbelievable.
On the sevens pitch.
Off the Briz.
I watched him. I went on tour with my eldest son. We went down to Toulon. And this is when he just.
Where's he playing?
Well, my eldest.
Yeah.
Then we were just on Bromley Rugby Club.
Yeah.
We just bossed down at Toulon, met up with Shawsey. He'd rigged up this game. But we went and watched Toulon train.
Yeah.
And Radra just hadn't long landed. And I was like, who the fuck's that? And then we watched it. We watched the Toulon game that weekend. And, I told to Harrison, I was like, look at Tuisova. He's the kid.
Yeah.
Watch this one.
Right,
Unbelievable.
But he's you see when he played with Ashton, Ashton scored the record. Samuel Radrad's doing everyone offloading, and then Ashton would just be next to him,
Yeah.
and he'd get him. He'd
Like
just
a little
score.
pilot fish, just
it was
floating
unbelievable.
alongside.
Unreal.
He gave him a
doubt
couple
I
over the list, over the line. Yeah.
But he was him to us over. What a pair. Do you remember Sean Edwards in the World Cup? Went, well, we're looking at the defence, right? I missed 17 tackles on the wingers, right? And I would bowl at them, but have you seen the state of them? They're two of the greatest ball carriers the game's ever seen, so don't go in too hard. I thought fair play to them.
That's a good shout. Wadey and Randrandra. Wide receiver, great hands, sprinter speed, change of direction ability.
So it's current, right? They've got to be now.
Well, I mean, unless you've got a really good.
I did, but
Golden
it'd be controversial, so I sacked him off. So I would have
Who were you gonna go
I
with?
would have gone with Falau, Israel Falau, but he's got to go.
Sack him in the
No,
bin.
he hasn't. Apparently it's okay. Apparently it's okay.
So who?
Well, apparently they're paying him £8 million. It's okay. We haven't even talked about this. We won't go into it now. I'm signing for WRU, and I'm just going to mug everyone off, and they'll pay me £8 million.
ARU. Let's not bring
Sorry, not WRU. Jesus. Sorry. ARU.
Your dyslexia's kicking in again.
WRU haven't got £8 million, so it doesn't matter.
I
ARU.
went Gabby Ibatoye.
Oh, nice.
He's
on
a
the rails.
small wide receiver, so he's more of a slot receiver.
Yeah.
So he's a lot more like Edelman.
What was the game he played in the other day where he just danced around doing it?
I mean, I'm not sure about his high ball stuff if they went Hail Mary, but I think he'd be a handful.
Gabs Batoya, yeah.
Big T from Saints.
His name is Tangeli Nairavoro.
Is this size not about to say it? Nairavoro. Big T, it's fine.
Big T. Great hand, sprinter speed, change of direction, ability. I mean, he's going to plough you a furrow, Big T. NFL will be watching this. Defensive end, big, physical, powerful, great hands. Big, physical, powerful, quick, great hands to disengage.
Oh, go on.
So
just laying down the.
I went for, and he's probably a little bit over the hill, but I still think he's probably the best there was. Sergio Parisier.
Nice.
We
We might hopefully be having a chat with him in the Six Nations.
Sonny Bill.
Oh yeah.
What, as a defensive end?
Yeah, he's big. He's
big.
It's like the Gronk.
He's big and he bangs people and he's just like the Gronk, and he's got great hands.
Yeah.
Sonny Bill.
Don't fucking question me, pal.
Linebacker, fast, great tackler, reads the game well, instinctive. This is an education in the NFL as well. Or American football.
So I went with Jonathan Davis.
Nice, I like
13.
that.
I mean, like, defender, fucking he can read everything. I mean, he is
13 hardest position on the
biggest,
defend.
bigger the game,
Better he plays.
the bigger the performance.
I think
That's a great shout.
Undernor's would be quite good. Sam Underhill.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's got,
Undernor's.
Undernor's, I think he'd be Undernor's. That's really good. The bell. Yeah. No, he's
That is a good shout, actually.
Yeah, I think
like both of those.
He reads, bangs people. You know, I never, because the way he looked, you never think that he's going to be that dynamic. Remember that thing he scored against New Zealand? We did a footwork, turned him
on the
inside
other
out.
day. I saw that stop with Bowden Barrett as well.
Turned him inside out. Looked like a Tesco's plastic bag he was. But he had the footwork. He's got a bit of speed.
Yeah.
So I thought he was quite good at that.
Good shoulders. Cornerback, covers wide receivers, so fast, ability to change direction quickly.
I went Vakatawa.
Nice. That is a very good shout. I like Vakatawa.
I thought Tuasova.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love how he gives you your one, right? You can tell you're the guest.
Well, we've discussed Tuasova already. I mean, they're both been.
No,
there you are.
Put him in
Just
with
saying
Radjo. You ain't going wrong, are you?
we are pulling out some serious talent here. I'm a bit worried the NFL are going to come with their checkbook. And kicker, self-explanatory, says Si.
So I went with Halfpenny.
Nice.
Because he stepped in that World Cup semi-final. He kicked everything, didn't he, in that semi-final?
he
and then
did.
he was pretty handy with the Scarlets the other night in that pissing down with rain.
There aren't many who leather it in the way that he does.
Oh, but the other guy was that. Who's that?
Neil Jenkins getting back for the day.
He don't need to be fit, though, does he?
No. He doesn't need to be fit.
Gavin Hastings.
Paul Thurber now.
I love that from '78 or whatever it was. Franz Stein, distance. Not necessarily
I know.
accurate.
Who was them? I'll go Pollard. Andre Pollard.
Andre Pollard,
Do you remember Gavin Hastings playing for the Scottish Claymores?
He had a crack at it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I think Will
always think-
Bantry did as well.
I thought Wilco should have done it.
Oh, sorry.
I think Wilco should do it.
Those flies are out today.
One thing I regret about, I don't regret because Wilco's one of the greatest rugby players ever, but I always think if I'd had his ability, right, I would have won the World Cup, gone over, done NFL. I would be Hollywood. I would have married an A-lister. I would have been the biggest thing.
You have married an A-lister.
Well, when we did the, of course I love
Good luck getting you through the front door this evening.
I'm joking.
Lucky you're doing that MMA.
You're an A-lister in my you're an A-lister in my heart. But I think I would have done that. I would have taken over the world.
Have you ever actually just stopped to think about what would have happened if you had kicked the drop goal?
I've thought about it so many times. It's like people ask you.
Parallel universe.
Oh my God! You don't. But honestly, daydreaming with rugby players is some downtime, right?
Yeah.
I daydream a lot about winning the lottery, but I've equally daydreamed if I was Johnny Wilkinson, what would have happened?
Where
and
would
I can
you
tell
be
you,
now?
I would have done that advert with Beckham, but I would have been bigger than Beckham because he's so good looking, Johnny, so talented. I would have done NFL. I would be cash money. I'd be Hollywood. There'd be movies. There'd be action figures. There'd be everything, right? Honestly, you wouldn't have seen it. You wouldn't have seen anything like it.
You'd probably be Prime Minister by now.
Oh God, yeah! I'd be taking over the whole setup instead.
But I guarantee Will Greenwood would have got to you first for that picture.
On your shoulders for the bus parade.
I tell you what, though, Will Greenwood, he called me the other day. If I was Johnny Wilkinson at that level, he wouldn't have my number. He wouldn't have got to my PAs. I mean, you lot would have been in the dust in the tailpipe. You'd be like, do you remember that? I'd be like, no, I don't. I don't know who you are. Or I wouldn't be saying that. My security would.
And back into reality.
It is weird that I have thought so much about this. The damage. It just would have been on every level. No, back into reality. It would have been.
He wouldn't have been Johnny though.
That's what I mean. That's the problem. But if you could take his power and put it into my body, it would have been unstoppable.
You're off on Friday to Hamilton.
Hamilton, yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, long
Little busy premium, or are you back at the bus again?
Definitely turning right.
One word on, not one word. Olympics 2020. How are you going to get on?
Well, we're hoping to medal. That's the plan.
Is there pressure?
Only the pressure we put on ourselves. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Good
I think,
answer. Very good. Straight out of the media handbook.
I think the reality is on that for us is, I think we'll find out about rugby in America if we do medal.
Okay, that's fair. I was going to say, what if you do? What happens?
That's the $6 million. Everyone thinks they know what will happen. Somebody needs to convince me.
Yeah.
I think the high scores are the key.
Really?
Not a gold medal.
Genuinely, I would.
If you need an assistant for that, don't forget your old mate. I'm coming.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's
the media training.
Yeah, I mean, if you want media people dressed badly with limited chat,
hopefully we'll need security on the way back.
100%.
You're
I'm all about
looking for
that
those
fight now.
gigs.
I'm a fighter. I don't know if I told you I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter.
Where is Phil Greeny's out? Where's he at the moment?
Phyllis is he's I sent him to Fiji with the Falcons. So he's in Nada trying to avoid a cyclone apparently. That's coming.
No.
So he phoned me last night. I said, I'm gonna phone you now, Mike. He said, just answer me this. If I'm at LA and there's a cyclone and they're going to... Am I getting on the flight? I went, no, mate, they ain't on the flight then. He said, right, great, thank you. It's all I need to know.
Right.
No phone call. So he's on the flight, which must mean that they've landed in Fiji, and that's going to be a baptism by fire. For a lot of these American boys don't understand that rugby is religion in Fiji. I said to him, you know what's going to hit you. Because they will all be known if they played at least 1 minute on the world circuit, which a number of them have when they land in Fiji. Wow. It'll be different for them, but a good experience. Yeah. But also they've got to come to terms with how the pitches are, how the officiating may be. They're going to have to deal with a lot of things.
Learn fast.
Because I
drink the Coronas.
I went to Fiji about 6 months ago, and I was on an island, and I was in, just with for our kind of our honeymoon, and we were there, and one person came in and was like, "Oh, do you play rugby?" Had a chat. 2 or 3 times boats turned up onto this little island. Can we just see? Yeah. Or would you go and have a photo? So yeah, I was there. They were lovely.
Yeah, amazing. Let's do House of Rugby Fiji.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd love to do that. We go on a world tour. We need a philanthropist from behind Joe. Don't do the expenses, but we need someone to fund House of Rugby around the world.
Currently at the back of the bus on that tour, but let's see if we can turn left. On a global
scale, yeah.
That is it for this week. Thank you, as always, for watching and listening to the House of Rugby. We're a YouTube show and a podcast. Don't forget Liquid Football with Kelly Cates, and the team is out every Monday. Thank you to Hask. Really enjoyed having you in. Very nice to catch up. We could do another 3 or 4 of these. So next time you're in town for 15 minutes.
Do you reckon if he wins the Olympic medal, it'll be too big time to come on?
No,
I'll never be big. We know that.
I'll never be big.
Small time. Would it be small time?
Come and, do. I mean, there'll be a lot of people who hope that you do medal because of the interest that will come off the back of it.
Yeah, me too.
Go get it. Yeah, exactly. Go get it.
He's got an extension on his gaff that he's got to do if the medal comes in. What are you hoping for the medal? A double garage and a spare room, actually.
Very nice too. Next week should actually be a very interesting episode as well. We're going to talk pain, injury, depression, and what to do with your life when your career comes to an end at 28.
If anyone knows, let me know.
Former Wasps man in the shape of back row forward Alex Reeder, who's a
good friend of mine. Good friend of yours. Boy.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll look forward to having him in. He retired just before Christmas with a catastrophic knee injury. So that will be very interesting indeed. Look forward to that one. Geezer, thank you as always. See you again soon as well. Have a good week. And we're back next Wednesday.
You've been watching the House of Rugby on Joe, together with Guinness. Drink responsibly. Visit drinkaware.co.uk for the facts.